Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another playthrough. This is for Obscura, which is a graphic novel, and it only has one chapter out, so I thought it'd be an easy, fast playthrough for us. I am playing this because I saw it on TikTok, I'm not gonna lie. I actually have zero idea what it's about, but it looked good and someone was like recommending it, so why not? As I stated before, I want to do more graphic novels, but yeah, so we're just gonna do that. If you do enjoy this episode, remember to like and subscribe and we'll get into it. I think I may have to play with my keyboard and mouse, which is fine. We're fine. Let's just start. What's your safe word? Oh Lord, what have I gotten into? Type your safe word. My safe word. Oh Lord? Jesus help me. What should our safe word be? I'm gonna say our safe word is no, this is a hard question. I've never had a safe word before. I'm saying things that I never thought I would say to the general public, but I have never had a safe word. Let's make our safe word Coke. Not Coke. This is harder than picking a name. I know, we're sitting here wasting time. You know what? I can't think of anything sexual when I see J-Hope, so J-Hope is my safe word. If you ever need or want to pause the game, you can press the safe word button on the top right corner. This pauses the game and takes you to safe word menu. Excuse me? What the fuck are you talking about? What is happening? What have I gotten myself into? The X key will always take you directly to the safe word menu during gameplay. Leaving the safe word menu will take you back to the game. The safe word button is hidden by default, but it can always be seen by mouse hovering over the top right corner. Oh Lord. It can be made always visible in preference menu. Please enjoy Obscura. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy it because what? No one goes in the mountain without a reason. Which mountain? Are these Fae? We're going on the mountain? Gate guard. Purpose of business. Buying. No one takes their pass into the mountain. How are you going to pay? Some funds, some work. Good luck with that. Is that a little too fast on the text speed? How about that? Let's see. Everyone knows what it means when you go. No one says anything about it. Give me your bags. The guard looks through my things with perfect efficiency. Or they start asking me questions. What are you going to be called down there? I'm just gonna say she, her. Oh, should I be a man? I'm always a man in a game. Okay, we'll just be she, her. What will you be called? Vesper? Do we want to put our real name in there? Lord, I don't know about that. That'd make it too personal. Okay, so we'll do it. Erica. This is my name, Erica. Erica. Good choice. You have a mask, Miss Erica? No one would sell me one. Not a problem here. If you're buying, we're selling. The gate guard waves to the mask hanging around the entrance, perhaps one once worn by other visitors. The masks are old custom, plausible deniability. We are all faceless strangers under the mountain. What the fuck happens under the mountain? This speed is too fast for me anyway. Pick your poison. A charcoal-colored one with worn lace and gold trim. A cream-colored one with flowery details painted across the left side. A burgundy-colored one with swirls and embossed pattern. I love me some black and gold, so we're gonna take the first one. I take a mask off the wall and fit it to my face. It weighs on my head, but my mind feels lighter. I see my reflection in the mirror. Oh! Well, that's not what I was thinking, but Lord. The people under the mountain have beautiful taste. I hand the gate guard the money owed. Welcome to the marketplace. They step aside, allow me pass into the tunnel in the side of the mountain. I begin my descent. I'm scared. What is down here? What are we buying? At first, I would have wondered if I had been tricked in some way. The passage grows narrower, and the air stale, and the path uneven. I'm walking by the last feeble threads of light that reach this deep. But then I see something, a shimmering pale blue glow from around a corner. I fight through the narrowing walls until I'm able to turn the corner. The passage suddenly widens, and it opens. I step from the passage into a cavern so massive I can barely see the end of it. The marketplace. There are several masked people who were seated or leaning against the wall around the little entryway, and now they are approaching me. Welcome, newcomer. A fresh face. Someone new could use a guide, couldn't they? Hucksters, or perhaps petty thieves looking for an easy mark. My valuables are kept under my heavy robe, safe from pickpockets. I steel myself and march forward past the strangers. There's no logic to this place. A fishmonger sells dried and salted fish, sits next to a bookseller with stacks of forbidden tomes. A fungus man and a bird keeper bickering. If they weren't obviously scams, I could have taken one of these offers for a guide and saved myself for some time. At first, I glance at each stall in turn. Out here, nearest the entry tunnel, all the stalls are selling simple amenities or cheap thrills. Sort of things a departing traveler might want to have when they ascend. Not what I'm looking for. It's not here. Well, I suppose it wouldn't be. Asking one of the sellers, I get directions. The rough walls of the cavern shifting and trembling in unsteady candle and glowworm light slowly turn smooth where natural walls turn into human carved. The ramshackle stalls turn into ramshackle buildings to painted and varnished walls. The quality of goods on the cellar is improving as well. The cheap basics are behind me. Ahead are the rare, the luxurious, the illicit. The real reason anyone comes here. Seeing the sign for an apothecary, an easily recognizable serpent coiling around a staff, I slip inside. Welcome. The shopkeeper is masked, of course, but that's not what grabs my attention. The din of hundreds of voices selling and buying and negotiating in echoing caves is muffled, but not by much. That is because while the apothecary has 4 walls, there's no roof over the store. Newcomer, huh? What? You must be a fresh arrival. And why would you say that? You're staring where the ceiling should be. Ah, I suppose in the city with no sun or rain, roofs are unnecessary. Only thing a roof keeps out in the marketplace is thieves. A common weather pattern here? Far too common. I make an effort to examine the apothecary's mask. It's plainer even than mine. Perhaps he is frugal, or perhaps he is poor by the standards of the marketplace. Well, you weren't driven in here by the weather. What do you need? I'm looking for a lunar ichor. I resist the urge to explain my circumstances to the shopkeeper. No matter how meaningless or petty they seem, my secrets are one of the few resources I have in these depths. You have expensive taste or terrible luck. What I don't have is lunar ichor. Is that something you can remedy, apothecary? No. If money is a concern, I can make arrangements. It's not the money. I can never afford to stock damnable ichor. Even if I could, I doubt I would be able to stomach it. The rumors were true then. That is unfortunate. Where does one go then to find the damnable ichor? Smuggler's den, the values of the lords of the markets, or perhaps you could take a knife to the lunar god. Failing that, the auction house may provide. It's the largest house this side of the ruby walls. It even has a roof. The apothecary cannot see my smile, but I hope he can hear it. I thank you for your timely advice, sir. Save your thanks for the lunar god. It'll be a miracle if you get that ichor. What's an ichor? I don't even know. I take my leave of the shop. The noise rises again from loud to deafening. There are tunnels and additional caverns in all directions, but I continue the way I was going. If the walls are getting smoother and the buildings more beautiful, then I'm approaching the richest parts of the market. It stands to reason that this is where the auction house will be. Keeping my eye up, it takes no time to find the auction house. It is, as the apothecary said, the largest house this side of the ruby wall. There are long chains of glowworms draped over the Promise Ridge roof that dangle and sway as the air shifts in the cavern. The building itself is deep, granite red with gilded trim. Message received. You're very wealthy, whoever built this. The doors, covered in tiny engravings impossible to interpret in the dim light, are wide open, bright golden lamplight pouring out onto the street. People are freely milling in and out, and so I slip inside. I am underdressed for the occasion, but neither of the guards standing at the door move to stop me. The sound of the outside suddenly dims, and I have to blink against the sudden brightness. I can hear my own muffled footsteps as I cross the plush carpet deeper into the auction house. The whispering conversation through the mask make a thin fog of sound compared to the din outside. The signs are in a language I do not recognize, but I can make some educated guesses. The ornate double door standing locked and guarded must lead to the actual auction hall. There's a short, uncarpeted hall with gleaming, polished floors lined with several doors. After a second, I see a giggling pair exit one of the rooms and straighten their clothes. That explains that then. There's one door that is a little more than a window on a hinge left open. I peer inside for a second, only to see an ordinary office. Come in. The stranger sitting behind the desk waves at me, so I step inside. Pardon me, I don't mean to intrude. You can't intrude on a bookkeeper. I must always be available. You must be? How else would anyone check to ensure I'm not meddling in the books? Does it really come to that? Well, I have no such concerns. A buyer, are you? Couldn't I simply be browser? You really believe someone could come to the marketplace, to the auction house, just to look to see what they find? I suppose someone must have, in all of history. Well, if that's the scale of your measuring by. You, however, are not here to browse. No, I'm not. You're right. I'm here to buy. Shall I show you the catalog for the next auction? I would appreciate it. The bookkeeper stands and hands me a sizable booklet. Do not damage it. Do not leave here with it. They open the drawer of their desk and hold up a knife. It's a little thing, but I have no doubt they could kill me with it. Then they sit again and resume their work. I flip through the book. There are objects of unimaginable value, works of art by artists even I know by name, an exquisite jeweled tiara fit for any princess, a deed to a country manor on the surface. Then there's the wonders I could have never dreamt of. A the bird wreathed in flames that never burns, the still beating bloodstone heart of some rock nymph, a potion of clear vision. I flip a page and I'm met with the miserable, exposed face of a young adult. Their posture is low and defeated, but they are beautiful. The text informs me that whatever is paid in the auction will be sent to their family within the mountains. Surely not. I flip the page again and there's no other people in the catalog, but one is enough to turn my stomach. Thank you, bookkeeper. Finished already? What I want isn't in there. And what is it that you want? I'll check the history, see when it was last sold. Bite my tongue for a moment. Lunar Ichor. An unlucky one, aren't we? I couldn't say. If you would, bookkeeper. They shuffle through their notebook. I try to read the text, but it's nearly impossible to interpret their faint pencil scratchings. My bad luck, more bad luck to the heap on your pile, I'm afraid. The last sale was 3 months back. It's unlikely we'll get another sale for months yet, unless someone new comes with the stock. Couldn't be easy, could it? And what was the final price for it? For a lot of 12? The number they tell me is stomach dropping. I could not gather those funds in a lifetime. Even divided 12 ways, the price for a single vial is well beyond my means. For a lot of 12. The number they tell me... Oh, sorry. My life savings weigh heavily on my coin purse under my robe. Dead weight, it seems. By your silence, I guess you don't have the money. Thank you for your time. I try to keep my voice neutral. When I leave the auction house, I momentarily lose my sight and hearing as I adjust again to the dim, echoing cavern. I don't notice the direction my feet are taking me. My hopes for a quick visit to the marketplace have been thoroughly dashed. Now I have to determine what to do. I think I'm better after some rest. I can't afford to give up. What is Ichor? First, I need to look it up. Ichor. A fluid that flows like the blood and veins of a god. Okay, so you want God's blood, basically. Making sure. Okay. Well, if I want the the quote-unquote blood of a god, I don't think I could afford to give up that. That easily. So, we'll pick that. I can't allow myself to give in to difficult circumstances. If I give up on getting the lunar ichor, I might as well throw myself off the mountain. For now, I need a place to stay. My feet ache from the climb up the mountain, and my spirit is draining away in these cramped, noisy conditions. I stop by the stall and ask directions for a decent inn, rest stop, public house, anything. Following the directions through the short tunnel, I wander through a quieter district of the marketplace. Though quiet is relative. The guest house is a challenge to find, though I hesitate to call the ground down walking paths roads. There are rest houses lining them on either side. The Leaping Bear, the guest house recommended to me, is nothing remarkable. The building has a roof, but the building itself is mostly made of raw wood. The brass doorknob is smooth under my hand, polished by thousands of guests who come and go. Inside, the atmosphere is boisterous, but on the scale of a handful of people singing and drinking songs. The chaos outside is already muffled and distant. Bare-masked caretaker. Welcome! The woman who approaches has a face fully covered in a bear mask, but her neckline is untied and exposed. I wonder who she works for. Hello, I was told that this is good establishment to stay the night. You were told right. Except the part about night. Here there's no real difference between night and day. Plenty of folks are up all hours of the day, as you do, just sleeping when they're tired and forgetting the sun ever existed. I see. The bare-masked woman has me sign into a guest book and pay for the night. You have the room for 24 hours. If you're staying longer, I expect you here to pay for more time. If you don't, you might find all your things at the moon shrine. I'll remember. Thank you. And you'll be needing these. She hands me a dull metal medallion on a leather string and a key. Dear Rufus over there. She gestures to a mountain of a man, also in a bear mask, standing by the door. Make sure only guests go to the rooms. That medallion proves you're a guest. Don't lose it. Or else I'll find my things at the moon shrine. Picking things up quickly, you do. Seems like an important skill to have here. Quite right. She gets back to her business, so I approach the mountain of a man guarding the door to the rooms. Hello, Rufus. I hold up the medallion and wait. I'm not about to rush a man with a bat, especially one in blood that one as bloodstained as his is. Then he nods and I'm granted passage. He watches me go to my assigned room. I suppose it's good measure to prevent theft, but then so is the bloodstained bat. Sleep doesn't come easily at first. How can I risk sleeping in the marketplace? But it does come for me. In the metaphorical cold light of morning, I see the sense of my choices last night. I can't leave the marketplace without Lunar Ichor. Thus, staying is my only real choice. If you hear that, I have a juice box, okay? Don't judge me. I'm able to order something like breakfast from the Leaping Bear's kitchen, and then sit deep in thought, staring at a bowl of porridge. Eating in this mask is a bit of a bother. I have to navigate the spoon around the mask. There's a clasp, you know. I start at the sudden appearance of the proprietress. What? Get along the side of the mask. There should be pins and clasps holding the bottom part. I do as she said and find the clasps holding two parts of the mask together. Well, I feel like a proper fool. It already feels strange having my mouth exposed, like a funny kind of nudity. Newcomers are all a bit foolish. That's part of the charm. Thank you, I think. Just keep your wits about you. You'll live. You make it sound so dire. Well, you're here, aren't you? You're not wrong. No one comes here without a good reason, I should think. What's yours? A personal matter. Buying or selling. That's all there is down here, after all. Buying. Something I might not be able to afford, it turns out. That won't narrow things down too much for her. Well, it depends on how you try to buy things, doesn't it? Money will get you anywhere if you have enough of it. There are other roads out there. Is there something you know a lot about? I couldn't say. I only know what stories the guests bring in. She says it flippantly enough that there must be a story there, but I resist the urge to dig. Then I suppose my next job is to find what path I can use. Thank you. Oh, no problem. The mash trouble everyone at first. You just ask for Bruna if you have any more problems. I'll be happy to help. She sweeps away to handle another matter, and I'm left with far more productive thoughts. Money won't get me the Lunar Ichor, but something else might. Influence, friendship, violence. Will? What is that? Guile? Guile? Is it guile? Guile. Guile, right? Okay. Sly, cunning, intelligence. My body, if it comes down to it, anything. Oh, Lord, we're going to be a prostitute? I mean, I'm not against sex work, so. There's a lot to think about. Am I going to stay in a guest house for weeks or months? What possible ways are there to get Lunar Ichor? Let's start with one foot in front of the other. Over the next several days, I get to learn the layout of the marketplace. It is an ever-shifting rat's nest of stalls and passages and unmanaged pathways, but there are some fixed landmarks. I can navigate somewhat comfortably by those landmarks when they are visible. One evening, based on my own internal clock, the proprietors of the Leaping Bear hints over a meal that, as long as I am well behaved, should be willing to extend my generous long-term rates to me. I wasn't planning to misbehave, even less so when Rufus keeps an eye on me, and so that settles the matter of lodging for the moment. As for the Lunar Ichor, I'm at a loss. It is rare, absurdly rare, and based on the reactions of those I speak about it, some aspect of it is very taboo. Likely the condition it treats. It treats a condition? We have a condition? What kind of condition? Let me know. I'm wandering one of the quieter passages, clearly natural by how uneven the ground is. It's mostly homes built on whatever smooth patch of stone the builders could find. And there's one of the towers over the rest, a tall church with heavy oaken doors, where normally I would expect to see a golden tin-pointed solar sigil. Instead, there's a more simplistic crescent-shaped one, the lunar sigil. I suppose the solar god is of much help down here. I have seen the eerie blue-green light of glowworms and the smoky gold of the lanterns, but have not seen the sun since I started my descent. Churches dedicated to the lunar god exist outside the mountain, but not in any significant numbers. Lunar god, lunar ichor. It can't hurt to ask, could it? I'm not sure I believe that the lunar god must bleed for there to be a lunar ichor, but there's no harm in checking. Hey, stop! I held my path instinctively, although after a moment I could see no one was speaking to me. Instead, there's a ruckus crowd gathering just down the tunnel, shouting and tussling. A few people are Utarian mask and what looks like a uniform are trying to push their way through. Looks like trouble. Oh, Lord. That seems dangerous. Let's just go to the church, because the church is going to lead us to the ichor, right? Let's go to the church. In my haste to escape the ruckus outside, I scrambled towards the entrance. Then once I ascertain that they aren't locked, I slipped through an imposing massive oak doors. The carvings of wood press into my palms, in surprised and comforting grinding sensation. Then, once the door closes, the change in atmosphere hits me. Oh. First the smell, candle smoke, heavy incense, cold, crumbling stone. Then comes the solemn silence, the kind that reminds you of your place within the holy walls and the oppressively tall ceilings. I'm finally alone, even for just a little while. I take a moment to release the breath I was holding and take in my surroundings. This is where the inhabitants of the underground come to worship the lunar god. It's also a reminder that I still haven't found any adequate leads for the ichor. When I take a couple steps down the carpeted path between the aisles, I suddenly make out a figure behind the altar. They're wearing long robes. A priest, maybe. Excuse me, I call out, taking care not to raise my voice too loud. The person shuffled around, and I see their masks, too. Well, of course, they would be. Even those in service of the lunar god can't afford to take risks here. I mean, you don't have to play sexy music. We get it. Long, white hair. You don't have to tell me twice, girl. As I approach, I notice the distant glimmer of golden brooch nestled between the folds of their clothes, proof they're their holy devotion. Ooh, I hit the wrong button. Their entire appearance is refined, almost ethereal, long silvery locks of hair cascading down their shoulders, delicate fabric wrapped over their shoulders, and long, perfectly gloved fingers. A rich, silken voice. It takes me off guard. Do my ears deceive me, or has another fight broken out? The priest stops a few meters from me, and from here I notice that their mask doesn't cover their mouth, which is set into a thin, disproving line. You're right, it's quite the scene outside. I pause. I was hoping I could lay low here for a while. I'm not one for brawls. My stars, the church will always be a place of safety for those who need it. Please, stay as long as you like. I was taught that all lunar priests call believers their stars, but it still makes me smile. Well, thank you, Father. A twitch of their lips. Cyrus? Cyrus. You need not call me by those stuffy titles. A man's name. I had a feeling. It's likely not his real one, as is the case for most people in the marketplace, but even a fake name can speak volumes about someone's personality. Would you like to light a candle while you're here? Huh? Ooh, this pose. Why is he smirking down at me like that? Fuck? Sure, why not? I follow him towards the back of the church, past the initial altar, and stop in front of the statue. It towers over us, surrounded by row after row of marine blue candles, and the sight takes my breath away. A sea of light. I don't believe I've seen you around these parts before. Is he making small talk? I light a match and watch the flame flicker softly as I bring it to the wick. But I can only answer with vague pleasantries to make sure I don't divulge important information. No, I'm not exactly a traveler on most days. Think I might see the appeal now, though. Is that so? Despite not being able to see his eyes through his mask, I can feel them on me. Cyrus makes no effort to follow up on his last comment, and the two of us fall into silence. You're a bit of an unusual priest, aren't you? His lips twitch again, forming into a polite smile. Would you care to elaborate? I'll consider it. We're standing closer now, shoulders only slightly apart as we watch the new flame sway in unison with the rest. There's such a strange comfort to it all. I could linger here for hours, soaking up the atmosphere. What's it like, being a priest, I mean? Demanding answers of me while not offering up your own. Behind my mask, I suppress a smile at his light prodding. You got me there. Well, I understand your caution. This is by no means a safe environment. But if it's any comfort, my star, I am bound to the lunar scriptures. It's my job to ensure the visitors here feel safe and cared for. The words roll off his tongue with practiced ease. I like the way he calls me my star. I like the way he calls me my star. Call me his star. I know that's what you call everyone, but being called a star does make one feel a little special. My answer makes him pause for a bit. You are special. Everyone is in their own way. If everyone is special, then that kind of defeats the purpose of the sentiment, does it? I'm mouthing off for the sake of it at this point, funneling these days' frustrations into banter. But Cyrus doesn't mind. I feel his eyes on me again, with increased intensity. Would you rather I say you're a bit more special than everyone else? His voice is laced with unexpected warmth, easing me like an old friend would. This time, I can't stop myself from chuckling. I'm not opposed to it, but I think I ought to be heading back soon. Errands won't run themselves. Good luck with that, my star. What can I call you next time we meet? Next time, huh? Erica. Cyrus repeats it, testing the pronunciation, and then a smile spreads across his lips. It suits you. Thanks. Picked it myself. Quite the mouthy one, aren't you? And it's part of my endless charm. That it is. We bid each other a polite farewell, and before I know it, I'm alone in the streets again. I trudge through the market stalls, sweeping over the newly available content as I have every single day since coming down here. Murky-colored crystals, vials filled with shimmering liquids, rare animal and leathers. But nothing even remotely resembles the ichor catches my eye. The serenity that fills me with at the church is instantly quashed. Instead, all I feel is dread. I've already been over this. Would Cyrus know anything? It's worth asking, and that's the perfect excuse to head back to the church tomorrow. Until then, I'll keep walking, because that's all I can do to keep myself busy. At night, I toss and turn. Not even the inn's freshly cleaned sheets do anything to soothe my restlessness. Before I know it, it's the next day, and I've barely gotten a wink of sleep. And we're gonna end it there. We're gonna save and an empty slot. There we go. All right. We have gotten somewhere. We met Cyrus, I think that's how you say his name, and some priest. You know what? I'm down for it. But We'll have to see where this story is leading, because I'm very curious why we need that, what kind of condition we have. Why is there this marketplace in a cavern? What kind of world are we in? But that'll have to wait. I'll see you guys in the next episode. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.